Hey everyone, how you doing today? Episode number 3 with Anna Kelly is one I have been looking forward to having with her. How you doing, Anna?
I'm great today, Michael.
Oh, this is going to be a good one, I think, because again, we're going to tease this one as tools of the rich. And first thing I want to say is that's clickbait, right? The tools of the rich are the same tools of the middle class and tools of the poor. It depends on what you want to do during the day and during your lifetime. The tools are available for everyone. There's not a single thing other than maybe the flag of accredited investors that is kind of income and wealth based. So, what do you think of this topic?
I love it. My mind is already racing with many different ideas.
Awesome. Well, last time I went first in episode number 2, I'll let you try to kind of open this discussion because again, we all have these tools. You and I have used them way back at the beginning. And people just need to realize that they need to stop pointing fingers, blaming them, take some personal ownership. Let's realize what tools we have and let's go for it.
100%. So the first one that comes to my mind is really learning to master money so that money doesn't master you. Everybody that I know that has money has that mindset. They have it because they've learned how to use money, how to master money, and how to use money as a tool to build wealth, not as something that other people have so I can't have, or it's just too hard for me, right? I had no money starting out, but I learned through a lot of time and a lot of mistakes how to use money in order to grow my wealth, even money that I didn't have, right? So not only your own money, but other people's money, the bank's money, partners' money, investors' money, learning how money can master you and deciding that you're not going to let money master you, but you are going to drive and master every dollar that you make in order to expand your means.
Yeah. That's an awesome one. One I'll kind of key on, and again, it's kind of easy for us because we have 20 years of hindsight to look back at, is the power of fixed rate debt with inflation. And I bring this up both because you and I can talk historically, but if you're doing a deal today, you're going to get artificially low interest rate on 30-year debt, my opinion. It will be higher in a year or two. And then you're going to have inflation. And inflation can be your friend or it could be your enemy. It depends where you want to be. So again, one of the tools of the rich, in my opinion, is they get if they can, they get long-term fixed rate debt and they get an asset that inflates both in value. And then if it produces income, it inflates in income. And just as an example, just today, LA Times reported Fresno, California, market I love very much, was the number one market for rent increases in the last 5 years at 39%. Again, not all markets are like that,
Wow.
but again, inflation is either your friend or your enemy. Figure it out, get on board, let inflation be your friend because it is awesome when it's a wind at your back.
Absolutely. And that's why real estate is such a powerful investment, because not only can you buy it with your own money, but to the point of being able to master debt and use other people's money, the bank is taking the inflation risk on those dollars because they're lending you money in an environment like today at a rate that in many economists' view is actually below the rate of real inflation.
Oh, no
and
doubt.
So I'm borrowing at a rate below inflation. And so over time, the time value of money is eating away at the bank's money because I'm borrowing their money, not my own money, right?
Exactly.
My property is just collateral for using the bank's money. So they're taking the inflation hit. So I'm actually making money by borrowing someone else's money and letting inflation devalue their money and increase the value of my property and increase the value of my equity and the rents that I'm bringing in. So it's super powerful. And that brings me to another thought of really understanding the power of leverage.
Yes.
So part of mastering money is mastering leverage, right? Debt can be a very, very, very terrible master, but it can be a really, really powerful tool. And so I want to be able to leverage, meaning I'm borrowing other people's money to buy properties for myself and to grow my wealth. So I like to think of leverage not just in money. I want to leverage other people's dollars, but I also and wealthy people always think about how can I leverage my network? How can I leverage other people, period? So you leverage other people to work for you in a business. You leverage other people as partners on real estate investments. You leverage other people as lenders, for example, in your network, or brokers in your network. You leverage investors to grow your wealth and their wealth. So learning the power to leverage other people, whether it be their money or their skills or their network, is extremely important and something that very wealthy people do very well.
Yeah, the other thing I want people to realize is specifically around real estate and single family homes, there's a couple of things that you have at your disposal that I don't think are talked about enough. And that is maybe you're in your early 20s, you're coming out of school, you're newly married, maybe you're 25, 26, whatever. You have the ability to, you're not going to buy your forever home in most cases at 27. But you know what? Have a conversation with your significant other. If you're single, do it yourself, and go, you know what? I'm going to, for the next 5 or 6 years, I'm going to buy what ultimately will become a rental. You can get an FHA loan with 3.5% down, run your numbers. So at your exit, it'll become a positive cash flow. But again, folks, create a plan. We talked about in episode 1, right? This takes 10 years, but damn it, start now, right? Get on the property ladder. Let inflation be that wind at your back. And yeah, you're not going to get your forever home, but damn it, you know what? Go buy a rental with safe leverage and, feel good about that. And the other one is, people don't realize that you can actually, if you live in a home for 2 years as your primary residence, you can get tax-free up to 250 grand as a single, or 500 grand as a married couple. Not enough people are taking advantage of that. Go do a live-in flip, for example. And damn, man, if you can make a couple $100,000 and not pay the IRS, that's a good day.
Yeah. And that leads to another point. Learn to use the tax code to your advantage. There are so many tax advantages given to people that want to do real estate, want to hire people, start businesses. Learning the power of those types of benefits that the government gives you to incentivize you to make more money is extremely powerful. I know for me, bonus depreciation is something that has been amazing. I made more money last year than I ever did, and I paid 0 federal income tax. And I have no qualms about that, because I paid probably close to 100,000 or more in property taxes, right, to my local area. But I get powerful tax incentives that allow me to offset all of my income to look like I have no income left, to be able to actually get a tax refund. That's super powerful, because the money I would have paid to the government in taxes, what am I doing with it, Michael? I'm reinvesting it into my community by buying more buildings, by creating more businesses that actually helps the economy. And that's what the government wants to incentivize you to do. So, don't say, oh, I feel terrible about not paying taxes. You're paying it, you're just paying it in a different way. But there's powerful tax code benefits that allow you to grow your wealth and to make money by utilizing those tax incentives. And house hacking is one of the best ways to do it, again, because you can trade up and not pay, capital gains when you move out of that property.
Yeah, there's just so many things. Again, if you ever want to figure out what the government kind of wants people to do, right, wants us citizens to do, it's the tax code tells us. And the tax code clearly says, it could change anytime in the future, but affordable housing is important, and they will incent that behavior. So the tax code, conservative financing, all these things, they're not just allocated for the rich, they're available to all of us, right? But again, I think it goes back to your point about mastering money, right? You have to have that internal wherewithal to, earn, save, invest, repeat. And it builds over time, right? The other one I have is, you need to think long-term versus short-term, right? We live in a consumer-based economy where, especially with social media, we want instant gratification. If we don't get enough thumbs up or likes or whatever the hell they're called, we delete the post. Stop it, right? Let's think years and decades and really change your family's financial future.
100%. And I think part of that process of saving and investing and repeating is really learning to be patient and knowing your financial goals, and patiently, every day consistently making moves toward meeting those financial goals. So very wealthy people, and I learned this back when I was in private banking and Bank of America, and we were trained that as a life cycle, as an investor, we move, generally speaking, from a phase of life where we need more income And then we have enough income coming in. And then we move into that phase of life where we want to grow and we take a little more risk because the money can sit there for a while and we can be patient and wait for it to grow. And then eventually we move into the area where we have plenty and we just want to preserve what we have, right? Well, we need to sit back and think like very wealthy investors do. What is my primary financial goal for today? And then what are my future financial goals? And they put most of their energy toward that number one primary goal and just a little bit of their energy toward the others, right? And so coming back to knowing what it is that you want and making sure you're buying the right types of properties or businesses and taking the right kind of activities to help you meet that financial goal develops patience to only buy the kind of things that you need to do in order to move the needle where you want to go financially. And so knowing your financial goals and making sure that your activities are aligned with those goals keeps you focused, like we've talked about before.
Yeah. The last thing I'll talk about in this episode that I see that I want people to realize is all the people that quote unquote have made it, right? When, at least in my interviews and my discussions with them, they all did it basically, at least they got to the first level with a single thread, right? It was a single business. It was a single area. And it wasn't until they got to that second phase, to your point, where they did the multiple sources of income, right? There's this great thing out there that people, you need to have 8 sources of income to be a millionaire or whatever that is. And yes, millionaires maybe have multiple sources of incomes, but they didn't become a millionaire because they had 8 sources. It's like reverse thinking. It's just like, it hurts my head.
100%. You get there. And once you have money, it's much easier to say, I can afford to put a little bit of this money over here and to risk it for growth and to start a new thing because I've already got the main thing as the main thing.
Yeah.
And they're not just taking it all and changing businesses, right? A lot of times what they're doing and what I've done personally is you take something you're really good at and then you find, how can I add to what I'm doing to create a related additional income stream?
Yes.
So I think we've talked about, let's say it's the My Pillow guy and he does pillows. He could probably quickly start selling sheets and manufacturing sheets too, because it's all bedding, right? It would be kind of a easy add-on for an additional source of income. But you rarely see somebody that, very early on in their wealth building says, I'm going to do single family flipping. And then tomorrow they're going to go start a tire company, or buy a laundromat. Like they're completely different animals. And so once you have a lot of money, then you can afford to take some risk by buying into something new and learning about it. But it actually can detract you from wealth if you're too scattered too soon and not totally focused on building wealth through one mechanism.
Awesome. Well, this has been exactly the conversation. Hopefully people appreciate this. Folks, do me a favor. If you're still watching this, leave comments below showing support for Anna. She checks out our comments and questions. So thank you, Anna, for your time today. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks so much. You too, Michael, and happy Easter.
Happy Easter.